quick intro. So we already discussed, I'm doing this for policyholders that may not know this exists, may not believe it, have severe trust issues, whatever the case may be. So if you can speak as candidly as possible on how you felt in the beginning, speak on the trust issues, say exactly how it went and fully be yourself. Just to reiterate, I'm not a judge. You're not in court. You're just talking to me. Just imagine you're just talking to me and having a normal conversation. Okay. Introduce yourself.
So I'm Kenya. This is my fiance,
Eli.
And when I'm gonna just go ahead and break down our story. So we were struggling. We had a little financial crisis when it came to when I had my son, and he had a little heart condition that really put a pause to my company. And I feel like I was going down a dark tunnel. And I knew that I had the settlement, but I was very skeptical about it. Someone contacted me before when I was younger, and that company that contacted me, I felt like didn't handle me or the settlement in a very respectful manner. That was helpful. It was more helpful for them than for me. So I didn't even go with them. And it is so crazy how we met. I was praying so hard on a blessing to come my way. And all of a sudden, you called. Black Squares Financial calls me. And I was very nervous because of my first experience. I didn't want to do it, but I felt like my hands were tied in a way. So I did just put my trust to God. I gave it to him, gave it to y'all. I was like, and then the relationship, how you talk to me, I felt like you have pure intentions, good intentions. You made me feel comfortable. You did like the other company. I feel like I was just another number to them. Yeah. I felt home here. I felt like whatever I was going through, y'all made it feel personal to y'all as well. You didn't make me feel like I was another number. Right. And that's what I loved through the whole process. Open communication. You text me every day. If I needed something, you were there. It was more than just business. Not just that, when I was going into this, I was very, very skeptical about, I thought it was just a scam a lot of the time. And I was like, they're asking for this, they're asking for that, they're asking a little too much information. I don't know. So I was like, I'm gonna just go ahead, go with the flow. And when I received the money, when we went through the courts and everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is real. And it helped my business so much. If it wasn't for y'all, I don't know where I would have been. Y'all treated me like family. Y'all treated the situation like it wasn't
your situation. Basically, it was their situation. Like
right.
They took their.
So not to cut you off, but not to sound corny, but I look at you that way. It's hard to not build a real relationship with someone if you are just like, I don't get how you couldn't be empathetic towards someone going through what you were going through. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm kind of wired that way. Like I'm very good at imagining that I'm in your situation. You know what I'm saying? So and what you were going through is very real. It's tough right now. It's so expensive to just live a normal life. And so I again, this is good for me to hear. It's so nice. I appreciate you because it's just nice to hear, obviously. So continue. Sorry, I just had to say that.
It is an honor. Like I don't know. I'm just so overwhelmed with joy. The fact that what I was thinking, I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking negative.
Again, I want you to please speak as openly as you can.
I don't know if he's like, and then all these other numbers, I know you have other workers with you. I don't know if they were like, I don't know. I was very scared. And so I did take that risk, but 101% worth it.
Do you think it became, sorry, I wanted to ask, do you think it became easier because I know obviously when you were going through times, I helped you out before court. Once that started happening, did that make you a little bit more sure of it?
Yeah, very much so. They offered to help me pay the rent at the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, they want to help.
That was a tough
before I even
time.
get my money. And I was skeptical about that too. I was like, I don't know if he's going to ask for it back or like, so I would say, no, it's okay. I'll wait. I'll struggle a little more. It's okay. I know the court date is coming up. You found the court date fast. When we went to court, it was very thorough. The judge was super nice, and he actually went up on the.
And that's actually good. I want to touch on that because I think we explained this to you in the beginning, but we do that anyway. So the day before court, we rerun the rate. So that was already going to happen. So it worked out perfectly. It's not always the case that a judge does that. Typically, they just want to make sure that you have a good plan and you have a good head on your shoulders, which obviously you present yourself well. So it's naturally going to go smooth, but that's awesome that that happened. And you're in such a good state. So it's a really smooth process. And you were virtual or in person? I don't remember.
In person.
What? So they're starting to do in person in some counties. Most times it's like this. It's on a Zoom and it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, if you don't mind, can you speak on why you had the structured settlement or have, because you still have payments?
So
That's another
the
thing.
reason why I even have my structured settlement was because when I was younger, I was about 6 years old. My dad was on a sane asylum, I guess, for a little bit. He was going through psych ward. He was going through therapy, and I guess he hung himself in the psych ward. They were supposed to be monitoring him, so they wasn't monitoring him.
Suicidal watch.
Yes, and they wasn't watching him. So when they found him in the room deceased, my mom sued them or something like that. And they granted the four of us, which is my siblings and me, a structured settlement from that lawsuit. And my other two siblings got some too. But the way my people set up the structured settlement was when I turned 18, I could buy me a car. When I turn 20, I can give me an apartment or apply for a house. I guess back then the rates were different. Very much. The interest rate is so much higher now. But
it's more so like they're outdated, right? So if you were of age at that time, you would have never took the structured settlement. You know what I mean? 90% of the time, you guys are forced into it just strictly due to age. So that's why it happens. And then you're exactly right. It's at a point where they're just so outdated. Going forward, they're not really doing structured settlements because they're realizing if they just take the lump sum and they invest it, they'll make far more money. You know what I mean? So basically exactly what you're doing now, investing in your business and fixing your situation, getting back on your feet. That's always going to be the better move compared to trying to sweat it out and suffer just because it's hard to not get hung up on the quote unquote loss, right? Because you're giving up money that doesn't exist yet. And sometimes the numbers, they could be intimidating, but you have to make sure that it makes sense, right? Which you did. You're smart. It's not to say that clients aren't typically, but a lot of them are not educated when it comes to the policy and they just don't have the guidance. You know what I mean? Right. So you're in a unique situation where you did understand everything. It's not like you didn't understand at any point. And I'm sure at one point you were a little hesitant on the numbers. I think you said that to me actually, which is completely understandable because it's when you look at just black and white with no plan behind it. I don't know if I should do this. Maybe I should try to get a loan, but then you do the math on that.
So I feel like people are afraid of things that they don't know. It looks confusing. They don't know it. They're not educated on it. I don't know. It's a little, that's not something I'm used to. So I'm back away. And I feel like even when I met my fiance, I was like, hey, I just got a little rocky situation. I don't know. I think you're out to get me. It's all about following your heart. If you know that this could be good, don't let that voice in the back of your head just because you don't know. Educate yourself. Ask questions. It's okay. You answered every single question that I had. The paper was simplified for somebody like me. I do taxes, so I could read, but for the paperwork that was given to me for me to sign, very thorough, very straightforward. There was no hidden little big words. It was very simple. And I was like, this will be beneficial. And it is. I tripled the money that I quote unquote, the money that what did you say?
It doesn't exist.
The money that never existed. I tripled that in my business coming into taxes. Coming in, it's just January.
I didn't even know that. So that's awesome to hear. That's awesome.
I'm so happy.
Really cool to hear.
It didn't even matter at the time. All my little negative thoughts. I was like, oh my God. And if people are afraid, I just say educate yourself, ask as many questions as possible. I feel like Black Square Financial is the place to go. I remember back then at that other place, they didn't care for my questions. They only called me when they needed something. You checked on me. Hey, how's your son? Is he okay? I mentioned that he was having surgery, open heart surgery. You prayed for me on my birthday. You took a shot with me. It was so wholesome.
I appreciate that.
You gained my trust. Well, I don't want to cry, but you gained my trust 100%.
Oh, don't cry, please. God, don't cry.
And I really hope that people, if they are going through anything.
Oh, don't cry, please. God, don't cry, please.
And if
Again,
it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be in this position.
don't cry, please. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. But I'm so glad you are. And I'm honestly like you are a pleasure to work with. You already know you're cool. It's very easy to help someone that's younger, to be honest with you, obviously, because I connect with you more. And again, your son's going through that. I have a son that's 4. So I'm like, immediately, I'm like, I can't imagine how you're feeling. I can't imagine that. I hated that for you. So that to me is the easy part. Again, I appreciate you saying all the kind words. Please don't cry. You
I'm
are
sorry.
no, please.
It's
Again,
just, it was the journey. It was. I was
again,
so
if
scared.
that's organic, so I'm glad that you did, but I don't want to see you cry, right? So we'll wrap this up because I don't want to make you cry more. But again, I really, really appreciate you. You were awesome to work with. At no point was I stressing anything because some clients, they're difficult to work with, especially if they have the trust issues, rightfully so. The trust issues are there. I get it, but sometimes it's like a hassle. You know what I mean? They get just so paranoid. And now, obviously, I have the pleasure of working with both your siblings now, and I owe you for that as well because you talked about me in a positive way, and I really, really am so grateful for you because just like you, I'm a small business owner. You know what I'm saying? And when people don't trust you, you already know it's such a hard thing when all I want to do is genuinely help people. And if I can't, I'm very honest. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you remember, but when we were going over your options, I wasn't telling you, hey, take all your money out. I'm trying to find a way to allow you to do what you got to do and still keep money. You know what I'm saying? And then exactly,
I
because
had my last 2 settlements.
Yeah.
exactly.
I didn't
Keep
feel
that
like that
safety
was
net. And then it's on you. If you decide you want to do the same thing because you tripled your business, that's on you. You won't see me pressuring you. You know what I'm saying? I'll update you as rates lower and stuff like that, but I'm not going to pressure you. It's completely on you. Again, I'm super grateful for you. I'm so sorry that you got emotional. And I'm
okay.
serious.
Joy. These are tears of joy. Oh my,
Good.
tears of gratefulness. This is nothing. I'm not sad about anything. I'm very grateful that I even met you. When I made that prayer and you, the next literally 30 minutes later, called, and I think it was your business partner at first, and then I met you, and I was like, wow.
What's crazy is not to get off subject, but now I'm just talking to you. So I just recently got back into church. I had a bad experience when I was a little younger where the pastor got caught doing a bunch of stuff that he's telling us not to do. You know what I'm saying? So I was church hurt. And I regret it now because I wish I just kept going. It's not that I ever lost faith in God or anything like that,
Right.
but you know what I'm saying? Like, I was defeated for a little bit. So I just got back into it. And I'm such a big believer on timing and things are meant to be. And ultimately, he is going to look out for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool to hear you say that. And then it just worked out that way. So again, I really appreciate you. I'm here at any time. Not about business. We already said that. I told you, I told your sister. If I'm in Texas, you already know. Same with you if you're in South Florida. So keep that in mind. And it was very nice to meet you too, Elijah. I appreciate you being on and just obviously consoling her. You're doing a good job. And that's it. I'm just going to very quickly share the screen to show them the signed order that we discussed. It's going to show the 2 portions that you restructured. I'm not going to sit and show a bunch of your personal. The signatures, obviously, and this is where the judge signs right here. And that is how you know that you got approved and you got funded. And just to confirm, obviously, most people would be like, that's pretty obvious, but you got the full amount, right? That you were told. I know you got more in the end, but you got fully funded. I just want to get that on tape here. So that's it. I'm going to stop recording. You and